Alright, basically what I'm going to do here is talk, and then I'll go through your video in slow motion, and you'll see some arrows show up that are pointing to the things that I'm talking about. So first things first, your foot placement is pretty darn good. The one thing I would say is if you notice your left leg, which is going to be on the right side of your screen, your leg and knee are anchored in a little bit towards your other knee rather than straight up and down. You can see your right leg is straight up and down. That left one is kind of angled in a little. You can see the angle of your knee is in a little bit too. So as we go forward in this video, what you'll notice is that sets you up so that your knees come in towards each other rather than track over your pinky toe as you lift that bar up. So that's one of the things we'll be working on, and we'll do some exercises to strengthen that. So the first thing is your feet placement's good, your hands are on the bar in the correct place. And now let's get into the stuff that we can correct a little bit, clean up, and then get better. So your hands, what you're going to see is your hands when we start this video are going to grip that bar, and then you're going to rip it right up off the ground. And what I would say is grip that bar, get tension on that bar, and then lift the bar. Don't just grip it and rip it, because what happens is you end up yanking the bar off the ground. And it's basically the same thing as if I said, hey, we're going to put you on a rower, and it's going to be at a dead stop, and then I want you to yank on this rower handle as quick as possible. Like, you wouldn't want to do that because it sucks and you kind of waste a lot of energy doing that. Same thing goes for a barbell. It's a gradual lift till above your knees, and then as soon as it passes your knees, that's where the power explodes from. So the first thing we're going to look at when we look at this video again is the grip. The second thing that I want to point out is your knees that we were talking about before. So you'll see there's an arrow there and an arrow there, and what you're going to see is that they go in towards the arrows, like they track inward instead of outward. So when you lift that bar up, you're going to see your knees come inwards, and what you're doing is you're robbing yourself of some power, certainly some stability, and you're just not going to be able to lift as heavy as you can lift as you get to those higher weights, because your knees are basically ruining your power by going inward rather than tracking outward and staying right above your hips. The third thing that you're going to see me point out are where the top of your hip is, let's just say your butt basically. It's super high. In your first lift, it's pretty high, and we want it to be below your knees. Like, we want that butt to drop down below your knees so that we can use all your quad, all your hamstring, keep your chest really upright. If we were looking at this video from the side, you'd basically be fat over that bar, and we would want you to be anchored behind it looking sort of like a gorilla. So you'll see that your hips are high, your knees are going to come in a little bit, and you're going to yank that bar off the ground. That said, your form's not that bad, but again, we're trying to clean this up. So now you're going to see me start to move this video along in slow motion. So there's your grip, and as soon as you gripped, you moved in. Now I'm going to go back down. Watch your knees. So look at those knees come inward, and then they come back out. And then again, watch your hips. They're pretty high. So you're going to start there. So we're looking at that grip, your knees, and the hips in this video. When you come down, everything looks pretty good. You'll notice that one foot, your right foot, slotted out pretty far to the right. You turn that foot, and then the other foot did a little bit, but not so much. What I would rather you do is get off the ground and then shuffle your feet. So your feet actually never left the ground. Your heels stayed on the ground. And what that indicates is that you didn't get triple extension, meaning you weren't fully opened up in your hips, your knees, and you didn't get that pull, because you would most likely pull yourself off the ground. What you'll see in the second lift there is that your butt actually gets down a little bit lower, which is better. Your knees don't come in as far as they did in that first lift either, and it's because when you're actually doing multiple lifts and it's not some ridiculously heavy weight, you set yourself up in better position that second time than you did the first time. So there you go. You straighten out those feet again, which is great, and then the third lift is pretty good too. What I would say on that third lift is, I'm going to go back just a little bit, is again, your butt's pretty high. You come up. Feet don't even shuffle at all really in that last one, which is fine. And then you come back up. So the lifts are pretty good. What we're doing is, as we get to heavier and heavier lifts, you're not going to be able to get away with this kind of stuff, because it's going to hurt you as you're lifting heavy, and you're going to really need that good form. The other thing is that you don't really want to hit it, and I just noticed it there as I was going back. If you can avoid it, you don't want to hit it and pop it off your hips. And I know that a lot of people teach that, but what you're looking to do is brush it off your hips. And when I show you those videos later that I'll do of myself, you'll see the difference between a brush and a pop and where the bar goes and all that good stuff. So again, really what we're looking for were your hands, your knees, and your hips in this video. That's what we were looking for. And I'll send you the video later with those corrections.